What's up, everybody, and welcome into my channel. I am Jeff Nadeau, host of the Sit Down Podcast, a Mafia History podcast. I'm here live. It is bright and early, and I'm giving a review of the many Saints of Newark, the prequel to The Sopranos. Now, I was up at 3 a.m. I watched the film right at the beginning. I went to bed around 5. It's about 8:30. I'm waking up, and, that's the cost of being a Sopranos fan, right? I don't go to the theater. I'm going to just watch it right at the beginning. So I want to start out with my overall thoughts. I liked it. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was just enough. I thought it was needed. It clearly sets the stage for another film that would lead right up to the show. Obviously, I think the big thing out of the gate is you don't get Tony, at least a high school Tony, until about an hour in. But we see all the characters. We get to know Junior, who I think it's made clear pretty quickly was never a real gangster. He was kind of the earner, I think, or the brains of the operation, if you will. We see a little bit of Johnny Boy, who's played by the great John Bernthal. We see Little Pussy, or when he's Little Pussy, obviously he grows up to be Big Pussy. We meet his father, Aldo, who's played by Joey Diaz. We also obviously meet Sylvia, who, look, I thought John Magaro did a great job. I know a lot of people will think, oh, he looks like an SNL character, but I thought his mannerisms, I thought he was Silvio. I thought he was terrific. We meet Paulie, we meet characters that we've heard referenced in the film. And then we meet a character called Harold, who is works for Dickie Moltisanti as a numbers runner, and then decides he wants to take the business over for himself. There is a weird plot line where they involve Frank Lucas, obviously the drug kingpin. Obviously, I don't think he had any connection with Italian, so I didn't think that made any sense. But my overall thought was it was good. We meet Livia, who's just as big a lunatic as she was in the show. We also meet a woman that Dickie's becomes his gumata. She was actually Dickie's father's wife, weirdly enough. She comes over from Italy, and something happens to Dickie's father, and he starts dating her. They indeed have Christopher, and that's that. But I think if you're looking for a Sopranos answer to the Sopranos, I don't think there are any. You meet Carmela, you meet a young Artie, they're very brief. There's not a ton of Tony interplay, really. Most of it's just him saying that he doesn't want to become a gangster and he wants to stay on the straight and narrow. And it's really, the whole film is about, as usual, them trying to keep him away from it. But by the end of it, it kind of feels like he's made a jump. They try to get Dickie to stop talking to him, but he still tries to, I think, feel connected. I think, interestingly enough, there's not much review to the film. I think it was needed. I'm happy it happened. But ultimately, in my heart, it doesn't change anything about the series to me. Is it cool to see some of the original stories? Look, I didn't know in the show that Pussy's father was in the mob. I didn't know that. I didn't know how Pussy's father met his end. I wasn't aware of that. But there are references throughout the movie that we remember in the show. For instance, we all know from the show that Dickie Moltisanti is killed, quote, when he's carrying TV trays in for me. It's funny because they make a reference and you see the TV trays as he's murdered at the end of the film. So there's some subtle references. Junior makes a crack about Tony never being a varsity athlete. He does have the makings of it. It's great. It's a great reference, and it's at a dinner table just like in the show. So I don't think it's imperative that, obviously there will be people that still haven't seen The Sopranos. If you really want to watch The Sopranos, you should watch this film first, I think, because you get the lay of the land on who the basis of these characters are. Then you obviously see them, if you've never seen the show, to the movie. I thought the end was cool. They go out with Dickie's obviously in the casket, and him and Tony have a moment, and you hear Christopher's narration. That's the guy went to hell for, that whole thing. There were some things that I thought were weird about the film. I didn't understand the Christopher dialogue. Like, he's dead. Like, I don't need him to dialogue. That was kind of weird. Also, the whole situation with Hollywood, Dickie Moltisanti, I believe his name is. I think that's Dickie's father. I think that was his name. So, in the movie, Dickie kills his own father, which is weird. And it all stemmed from his love interest of the wife. He kills Dickie. He lights him on fire and makes up a story that he's killed in like the riots, and no one really buys it. Then he goes into prison to visit his father Dickie's brother, and it's the same character, it's Ray Liotta. Like, I don't get it. Like, that was weird to me. Like, I didn't get the basis of that. Because the character that Ray Liotta plays is killed in the film, but then he goes into prison and meets his brother, and it's the same character. I don't know. It was weird. But all in all, it was a good movie. It wasn't great, and I didn't think it would be. Like, it wasn't going to be like this transcendent mob film. I think what this film does is it opens the book again of The Sopranos, and this is the beginning. This is the Old Testament. We have a space in the middle where Tony is in high school. He's met Carmela, and he's at a crossroads on what does he want to do in his life. And that's where this film ends, and it's pretty clear there's going to be another movie. 100%. Has to be. We still don't see Feach Lamanna's card game. We don't see Jackie. We see a very small appearance from Jackie, where Tony and him are fucking around, stealing an ice cream truck. But it's not a bungalow bar. It's a Mrs. Softy. So, again, it's a good film. It's needed if you enjoy The Sopranos. What did I rate it out of 10? I don't know. 7.5. I liked it. It was worth a watch. It wasn't terrible. It also wasn't incredible. It was good. And as a Sopranos fan, you have to watch it. But if we set the stage and know that in 2 years, we're going to get another film, and, we get similar actors, I'm in. That will be the film. So this, it's a nice Andy Post. It's a nice Andy Post, maybe have a little, shrimp or something, the rigatoni, the veal, the meatballs. That's the next film. That's what I would rate this. It's a good primer as long as we have the expectation that a film is coming. As always, I am Jeff Nadeau. You can check me out on Twitter at TheSitDown7. Make sure you check out all my videos on my channel. We've got great short videos about mobsters. And make sure, if you want the biographical show where we talk about the biggest of the big, check out The Sit Down, a Mafia History podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.